Hello and welcome to this session entitled Drafting Contracts for the Supply of Goods and Services, the Key Issues with me, Keith Markham. As always, let's begin by having a look at the agenda. So quite a wide-ranging agenda. We're going to begin by just reminding ourselves of the different types of contract term that we may come across, both in terms of express and implied terms. We'll remind ourselves that obviously we can encounter conditions, warranties, and innominate terms, and we'll just set out the brief understanding of those things. Then we'll go on to talk about goods, and we're going to spend a lot of time in this session talking about contracts for the supply of goods. We'll begin by reminding ourselves that the Sale of Goods Act 1979 has a whole range of implied terms that it would like to add into your contract for the supply of goods. That includes things like satisfactory quality, fitness for purpose, also things around delivery and acceptance and so on. So we'll set out what the detail is in terms of what the Sale of Goods Act has to say. We'll then look at the fact that typically we would be able to exclude those implied terms using an exclusion clause or alternative provisions. And then once we've done that, we will proceed to look at a series of clauses and we'll be reviewing them and considering what practical amendments we might like to make. So very much we set out the background, we set out, if you like, the elephant in the room, which is the Sale of Goods Act. We think about how we're going to deal with that, and then we're going to go on to talk about specific drafting in terms of amending some express terms. Now, that will take up quite a lot of the session. We'll then at the end come to talk about services, and we'll do exactly the same. So we'll look at what the implied terms in respect of services are, particularly from the Supply of Goods and Services Act 1982. Then we will go on to talk about a couple of express terms and think about how we might change those. So very practical, very sort of hands-on type session for us to consider today.